right, you're welcome to Politics and You. My name is Anthony Momodu. Just recently, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, released the timetable and activities and all for the 2019 general elections. And according to the INEC chairman, talking about Mahmoud Yakubu, who released the timetable on Tuesday in Abuja, the dates for the National Assembly and presidential elections would be holding February 16, 2019, while that for the governorship and State House of Assembly elections would hold March 2nd, 2019. So what it means is that the stage is set for all political players and all stakeholders, including the Nigerian electorate, who are the very most important persons in the political space. And the big question now is, how ready are the stakeholders in the Nigerian political sphere to get things running as regards the 2019 election? This is going to be the major focus of our discourse today. But first of all, let's go straight to the announcement made by the INEC chairman in the person of Mahmoud Yakubu to get a good background on the discourse for today.
It could be recalled that on December 14, 2017, the nation's election umpire, after its meeting, approved the registration of 21 associations as political parties. To further authenticate the status of these political parties, INEC issued certificate of registration to the 21 registered parties. INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu affirmed that the Socialist Party of Nigeria, SPN, having secured a court judgment, has been given certificate of registration before now, which makes the total number of new political parties in Nigeria 22, and then the grand total of all political parties in Nigeria 68.
The Commission, at its meeting of 14th November 2017, approved the registration of 21 associations as political parties. Furthermore, in compliance with the judgment of the Federal High Court, the Commission registered the Socialist Party of Nigeria, SPN. We have already issued the certificate of registration to the party. The number of new political parties has therefore risen to 22. The number of new political parties, I repeat, has risen to 22, in addition to the 46 parties already in existence. This means that today there are 68 registered political parties in Nigeria.
INEC National Commissioner Anthony Simbini reminded the political parties of their rules of engagement and consequences of found wanting.
The Commission, on its part, will at regular intervals carry out verification exercises to your offices to ensure continued compliance with relevant laws and regulations that govern your existence as parties. It is pertinent to point out that at the conclusion of a review of the compliance status of political parties that we carried out in August of 2017, 17 out of the then 46 registered parties had no functional offices in the FCT. And I'm aware that some of you presented as part of your documentation tenancy agreements that were a month to expiring. I mean, it has not expired, so we could not have disqualified you. But be sure that we'll be back.
For his part, Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Mohammed Naladu, the problems of exclusion of women and youths have been solved with the coming of the newly registered parties.
And we are welcoming the newly registered political parties. But what makes us happier is the presence of women and youth as leaders of most of these registered political parties. We have been having problems of exclusion So I think the registration of these 21 newly registered political parties has started solving the problem for us. And we hope more youth and women participation in the decision making in all political parties. It is my desire to welcome all the newly registered political parties on board into Inter-Party Advisory Council, the umbrella body of all the registered political parties in this country. And we hope you will play the game by the rule.
With this development, the 68 political parties in Nigeria are expected to spice up the electoral process and heat up the polity, thereby strengthening the nation's democracy.
No, we are quite ready. We are highly delighted with the program that INEC has put in place. They have given us all political parties adequate notice to prepare. Not only political parties, all security agencies, all stakeholders in Nigeria's electoral process have been given adequate notice. There is no room for any stakeholder to complain or seek for postponement of election date. This is the first time we are having this kind of adequate notice in our electoral process. So we commend INEC for its foresight and for this adequate preparation.
You expect a lot of new things, total change to the platform, complete new ideas, new way to do things. We're bringing in technology. We're not letting just anybody come in, but we're letting everybody who qualifies come in without paying. Our party is not charging anybody nomination fees. So anybody that thinks Nigeria is important enough, I want to save it, NIP is the party you come to.
We are very prepared. We are more than prepared. What we just need now is for the young people to arise. You know, if these young people don't arise now, then all the efforts we are putting in is defeated. But once we have the people we are targeting coming out, everything is going to be great.
No, we are quite ready. We are highly delighted.
Welcome back. Now you have a good clue to how INEC, went about releasing that list and schedule of activities as regards the 2019 general elections. And also we had some of the new party chairmen and stakeholders say how ready they are. But right now in the live studios, I've got Eunice Atoyejide, who is the chairman of the National Interest Party, right here in the live studios to put some gloss to today's discourse. Nice to have you join us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. It's amazing having you as the second chairman, who's a lady we're having to discuss with on politics and you. First of all, are the political parties truly ready? Can you say the political parties and all stakeholders, including the electorates, would you say they are truly ready for the 2019 elections?
I would not say the electorate or the new political parties or even the old ones. I don't think anybody right now is truly ready for 2019. However, I believe that a lot of us would be before it's too late to be. I believe that because at least INEC has given us its timeline, so we know what to do. We know when to have what's ready, and it would be really foolish to not try and meet with the timetables because it's a really reasonable timetable. There's more than 7 months to prepare before you now have deadlines that you have to really crush yourself to meet. So nobody's ready, nobody, not even INEC. However, I am quite hopeful that a lot of us would be.
All right, let's look at what are the likely areas that we're going to likely to have hitches, starting from the voters, readers and other issues. For you, which are the key areas that you would say political parties need to get right in order for the elections to come smoothly?
I think the most important thing for all the political parties is to be very watchful. From past experiences, I believe that where the most problems will come would be in the card readers.
Okay.
And then, luckily, at least with the Anambra elections, we saw that you were going to do accreditation, and then right there and then you would vote. So that reduces the amount of indiscrepancies that we would see. You know, when you come and you do accreditation and you go away and you have to come back at some other time to vote, some people would lose interest, but the fact that they've already been accredited, it gives the loophole where somebody else will now say, that one don't accredit now, make we take him vote. So the fact that you can now do accreditation and immediately vote reduces the space to steal. However, every political party needs to be like absolutely on spot and watching out to make sure that there is no room to rig elections, because that's where I think the worst of our problems would be if the people are giving us the mandate, but we cannot protect that mandate by watching, like being very watchful and making sure that the right results are communicated to all the parties at the right time.
All right. One of the key issues we've noticed over time has been the continuous voters registration, which at most times we've got what we call voters apathy, where the turnout of voters is extremely low compared to what is expected, or those that have, but for you, how key is this going to be? How the political parties, do you think they're so ready to actually let the electorates know the importance of getting that done?
I do not believe anybody is ready. However, one of the reasons that we at the National Interest Party decided to get involved is to give the unusual voters an opportunity to come out. I would not lie to you, somebody like me, I've never voted. Because when I see that it is Atiku, it is Buhari, it is Kwankwaso, it is, the old people, I don't feel motivated to come out, because I don't want somebody to mistakenly shoot me or cut my leg or break my bones when I'm trying to vote and it is the same bad eggs that I'm voting for. So I don't come out. But in my opinion, I think that now that people like us are there, there's quite a few young generation parties that I saw when we were receiving the certificate yesterday. Now that people like us are there, we will definitely bring younger people, more articulate people, more visionary people, innovative people. We'll put them on the table and tell the voters, okay, you that you normally don't come out, we have given you a reason to come out. So instead of the 29 million usual voters who collected 10,000 and give us people like presidents that have rats in their office or that employ and give parastatals to dead people, at least we'll now have people that know that, oh boy, tomorrow my children's school fees is in London. Instead of here where I can pay 2,000, I'll be paying 5,000 in London. Let me go and vote for somebody that can give us in Nigeria we can live in. So they will come out. But if we go and give them Atiku or all these other people,
All right. Another key issue is the fact the primaries, internal democracy of political parties has always been a very big problem, where we see candidate imposition by those first three political parties in the PDPs, in the APCs, and probably APGA. What's the guarantee that this new parties, internal democracy, is going to be something upheld in order to ensure that the right candidates, come out?
I cannot speak for other political parties. I have no idea what their motivations are or what they are going to do. However, I can talk for the National Interest Party. And this is a party where we have made internet-based. So you are going to be able to take part in the primaries no matter where you live. So we are not going to limit it to just the 2,000 usual delegates that anybody can buy over and then use them to impose candidates.
Are you going to go through the delicate format? Are you going to do that?
It's an open primaries. We have a direct primaries. We are the only parties in Nigeria that have that. We are the only political party in Nigeria that have a direct primary structure. And we are allowing every member of our party. For example, local government area elections, councils or whatever, you will just limit it to the ward. So the people from that ward are the people that will decide. But for a national election, like the presidency, for example, every member of the party has a voice. So what you have to do is, when it's time for the primaries, you look at the candidates. I like this one, I don't like this one. Okay, let me vote for this one. You vote your own, you leave for the rest. So everybody will get a chance to pick who their preferred candidate is. And then at the end of the day, when you see the way we structured it, the top 4 candidates, if we have up to 4 aspirants or more, The top 4 candidates will now do like a runoff between themselves. Before the runoff, they'll have opportunity to go from each political zone with to one of the cities in each of the political zones to like kind of campaign and talk to our members in those areas. And then when they have done that, then we'll now get a final voting procedure for them, so that the final person, the person that gets the highest of those 4, that's assuming we have a lot of aspirants.
Aspirants, okay.
The first 4 people, and then the final of the 4 is the person that gets a ticket. Whoever you are, we don't care. If you are from Igbo or from Yoruba or from Hausa or Fulani, it wouldn't matter to us. If you are the person that wins on our platform as the overall person everybody voted for to run for presidency on our platform, you get a ticket, you get our support. So there is no automatic candidacy. There is no opportunity to impose any candidates on anybody. We have a very, very transparent system, and we are allowing every member of the party say who they want, and whoever the majority says, this is the person we want to represent us, that's the person we will have to present.
All right, we cannot shy away from the fact that money is very important in politics. Very, very key for political parties. Knowing that the National Interest Party is just one of the new political parties, the 21 political parties, what's the guarantee that you could muscle your way amongst these big political parties that have got the money bags? And what's your strategy to ensure that singular factor doesn't play against you? What's the guarantee?
Money is very important in every political system. Anywhere you look, electioneering is a very expensive business, yes, you could say. So for us, we know that we need money, but we believe that the people need a structure they can trust. We believe that when Nigerians understand that, these children have left everything they are doing, they are trying to fight for us, and they believe that NIP is absolutely going to do everything to give a fair, at least internal democracy, will give a very true internal democracy. When they trust us that much, I believe they will give us their money. And we are not going to be able to look for the big 500 billion they give you. We won't have that because we don't have the cabals on our side.
What about if the cabals actually come calling and say, okay, we think we like what you're doing, we think the youths are coming towards your direction, we want a stake, and decides to toss the money towards the National Interest Party, what's going to be the reaction?
Will I tell you the truth or not? I will tell you the truth. I'll tell my people, let us take this money.
Okay.
But we're not selling out to them.
But what's the guarantee you would stop someone, like they say, who plays the piper dictates the tone?
Yeah, but the thing is, you know the way they are, they usually come to you. They have come in their various forms and structures. And what they tell you is, whatever you do, when the time comes, you hand over to us, you're going to follow whoever our candidate is. And we tell them, no, we are not that kind of party. They'll tell you that you're too small, you're just new, you're just children, you don't know what you're doing. Let us guide you, we'll give you the money you need, you build up the support, and after you build up the support, when the time comes, you do as we say. And we tell them, no, that's way too open. If you bring money to us and you tell us, okay, we like the policies you guys have discussed. We like the direction you are going. We want to support you to get there. However, we would like to bring in XYZ candidates to give them opportunity to run on your platform. As long as you're not imposing on us, they can come in. And if they pass our own standard test, which is basically the same thing in our constitution.
What's your standard test?
It's in the constitution. They tell you that you cannot be bankrupt. You cannot have fraud issues. You cannot be a dishonest person. You cannot be, there's so many things in the constitution. Members of cults. A lot of the people you see in this system of democracy we have, they were people that are like capons from the times at university. A lot of my friends see them and they're like, Jesus, this guy was the boss. He was one of us, and they are all cult members. And some of them are drug barons. Some of them were doing 419 in Europe, in America, in Asia. And now they are governors, they are senators. You know, a lot of criminals are the people leading us in Nigeria today. We don't need that because we have a lot of brilliant, clean people, but because the system does not vet them before they allow them to run for offices, then you have a lot of criminals leading a country with a lot of really good people in and outside the country. So we said, okay, let us take it seriously. Let us vet these people. Let's screen them. It's about the biggest, and it's the only and the biggest hurdle you have to cross to be able to run an NIP. The screening process is so hard. Like, you have the lawyers, we have investigators, they will take your life apart. They will check you in all the countries you've been in that you spent more than 2 years. They will check your history there. They will check the kind of work you're doing, your colleagues, your school history. They will look for all the things that are wrong about you, and they will tell us. And once they tell us all the things that are wrong about you, we'll look at the ones that are just politically oriented. Okay. You have some Nigerians that they will end up putting in jail, for example. When Audu Maikore was talking a lot about Kaduna killings, he ended up behind bars. Now, that kind of a thing is already a reason to not run for office. However, when we look and we see that you are fighting a good cause, and as a result, the government is using its powers to show you, we'll remove that from the things you have done wrong. And then look at the other things. If you have judgments against you for debts you didn't pay, you are bad for us because that means you steal our money. If you have bankruptcies, that means you don't know how to manage money. So if you are somebody that has ended up in fights, beating up women or stuff like that, that means you're going to hurt people when you're given the opportunity. So there are so many things we'll look at. I will say, no, let's not allow this person to run on our platform because he's a danger to society. He may be the one that will win because he's probably going to be very popular, he's handsome, he's whatever, he's cool. But if he wins and he comes out, it's going to be a problem for Nigeria, and we don't want to create problems, we want to solve problems. So let's give our tickets to people we believe, at least with utmost sincerity, we believe are best for Nigeria.
All right, looking at the fact that these political parties are just coming into the stream of things, do not really have the publicity other parties have got, but probably have the advantage of saying, okay, we're clean and we're bringing something new. What's the guarantee? What is being done to ensure that within this 7-8 months you've got, the publicity you can actually get across to people?
We are hoping, like you're seeing me here, you're letting me come on your show like impromptu. Some of your colleagues saw me yesterday and they thought, come and talk to us. We would like to give you more time to speak to Nigerians. That's what we are hoping the press can do for us. Not necessarily come and do direct adverts for us, but at least give us opportunity to tell the people what we are doing. We will take every opportunity we see, whether it is the live, leg-to-leg, mouth-to-mouth, TV, radio, prints, whatever we get, we will use. We're already very much on social media, but we want to have the opportunity to reach the people one-on-one. It is expensive. Even the trips, the hotels, everything, it is very expensive. A lot of us are funding privately for now, but we hope that at some point, Nigerians will see that we are truly sincere. National Interest Party is the sincerest you will ever get. As far as Nigerian politics is concerned, the National Interest Party is one party everybody can trust. You won't have people lying to you about anything, finances, about the results or anything.
Could we say it is like that for now because you've not been able to have your hands on the big box and you've not had the bad guys come into your party? Can we say that's why it looks like you're so clean?
No, it's not like that. It's because we have really...
What's your ideology?
Our ideology, we are central.
What makes you different from the APC?
We are not liars. That's definitely something that sets us apart from APC. We are not liars. If we can't do it, we'll tell you we can't do it, but we can try. If we can do it, we tell you this one is easy for us, we can do it. We won't come and tell Nigerians things that are impossible. We'll come and tell you we'll kill corruption in 2 days or we'll give you 50,000 every day. No, we'll tell you the things that are possible, the truth. Okay, you want to fight corruption, you have to start with yourself. All the things you are doing wrong, all the advantages you are getting because you want to or you have money, stop it and you will see that things will start getting better already from yourself. That's how you start killing corruption, from yourself, and then bring it out towards the rest and the rest of society. Before you know it, it will go all the way. But when you are hoping that corruption is all the people that are stealing money from the coffers of government, that's not where it starts. That's the bigger part, but that's not where it starts. It starts from me and you here now. If you had told me now, Eunice, if you're coming on my show, you have to give me 40K, that would have been corruption. Because you didn't need to charge me to bring you on your show. But lots of your colleagues would do that. So in a way, all of us are responsible for where we are at in Nigeria. And until we start taking responsibility for our own contributions to what we are suffering, we are not getting anywhere.
All right, let's go. There are two big factors that might turn around things come 2019 elections. We've got the Not Too Young to Run bill and movement. Do you think the youth are truly ready? And what's your expectations for the youth, especially with parties like your party? What's the guarantee that you'll be able to mobilize the youth to come towards your direction? Then my second question is, How sincere do you think INEC is going to be in this election, knowing fully well that the hierarchy of the INEC body seem to be leaning towards the northern region and might be desperate to ensure that the man who put them there wins the election?
I cannot talk for INEC. I cannot say that INEC will be sincere or not. I have no idea, no influence like zilch. However, in terms of us as a political party, we want to draw the youth out by giving them hope. Nigerians they've lost hope. It's like we're at the end. Nobody believes anything good can come out of this country. We in National Interest Party, we are mostly under 40. The people above 40 amongst us are probably just like 10%. So it is the youth that came together and said, okay, enough is enough. Let's get in there and change this story. Let's not leave the same story for our children or our children's children. Some of our executives are just 21 years old young people, like really young people, recent graduates, people that just passed out of NYSC. And they're like, we can't keep pretending that we are not affected because we are all dying. Slowly but steadily, we are all dying. The suffering is too much. We need to do something. It's because we are doing nothing. That's why these people are taking over and doing all these things to us. So we will give hope. And we will give hope by making sure that the best possible candidates run on our platform. We don't need to do it illegally because Nigerians are not stupid. And our platform is an online platform. So you have to have an element of interest in educated frame of mind. Like even if you're a market woman, you want to know how WhatsApp works, how Facebook works, how you can go online and click for somebody. So you will be interested in learning about the candidates you are clicking for. And we are going to give you quality candidates to click for. So when you get in there, even if you're a tribalist, you want to click for your person because it's from your state, you will have a very good person from your state to click for. That's the way we are going to give Nigerians, the unusual voters, the registered voters who don't vote. That's how we are going to tell them to come out. There is an opportunity to save this country, and that opportunity is in this man or this woman. If you don't come out and support this person, we will end up with another 4 years of dead people getting appointed into offices.
All right, let's look at INEC again. What are the likely fears the new political parties have as regards INEC being truly sincere in ensuring that everyone has a plain level ground to bring out the best candidate and also not shortchange?
I can't be judgmental of INEC because I went through the entire process with my colleagues to register the party, and save for their extreme slowness in reaching decisions. Normally, they should have registered us within 1 month of completing the process. Okay. But it took them 7 months.
Did they give any genuine reason?
They didn't give any reason at all. No reason. They just took 7 months to make a decision that the law requires them to make within 30 days. Okay. So, other than that very slow way of doing things, I didn't have major issues with INEC.
Okay. Looking at that slow rate, does that give an inkling to the likely hurdles the new political parties and other also well-established political parties might face in favor of the ruling party?
From experience, you know that the ruling party literally controls everything. That's the way it works in Nigeria. But I have faith that INEC also, they are Nigerians and they are suffering the same thing me and you are suffering. They are queuing for fuel on Christmas Day. Their brothers and sisters are getting killed in Benue State and Adamawa and Borno and everywhere. So they are suffering the same things you and I are suffering. And if you are suffering the same things you and I are suffering, that 50 million, 100 million they are giving you, it will finish one day and your brothers and sisters will still be dead. So I have a feeling right now, even those in their pockets are tired.
Okay, but let's take a look at what happened in some of the elections that were held in 2017. Yes. We had in different states, but the one that stands out the most is the one that occurred in Anambra. First of all, we had the security agencies take up the aid of the incumbent governor, and also we heard of a true life story of vote buying and selling. How can the political parties try to dissuade Nigerians from buying and selling their votes, especially knowing the hunger in the land?
I'll give you a secret, and this secret, I only just discovered it. They said, I'm not putting anybody, but they said PDP pay the highest.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
As in, if there were 500,000 voters out there, PDP probably paid up to 400,000.
Okay.
You saw how PDP performed. APC paid the next highest. So out of that 500,000, APC paid the next highest.
Yes.
So they probably paid up to 300 persons. So at the end of the day, the same people were collecting money from all the parties. At the end of the day, they still voted for that devil they knew. So in a way, I like the trend. Oh, they're still collecting money for votes. So, however, there's a new twist to that. They will collect money from anybody and everybody who is foolish enough to give them money, but they will still vote their conscience. I like that. I'm encouraging it big time. Take their money. Take it. It is our money. It's Nigeria's money. And you have the opportunity to take it. Pico, take it. And John don't collect it. But when you collect it, don't vote because that person gave you money. Follow your conscience. Even if it's the bad man you're picking, pick him because you truly believe that he's the savior of Nigeria. That's it. Collect their money. Let them spend it. It's okay. To make the suffering after they lose harder to bear.
All right. Let's look at these other two factors that have also continually helped Nigeria wallow in serious pain. We have the INEC looking the other side while this was happening during the Anambra elections. We had the security agencies also looking the other side while this were happening. What could Nigerians and political parties, the new ones, the unstained ones, do to ensure that we enforce the security agents not to look the other way, and also the INEC officials not to look the other way?
There are things you can control and there are things you can't control.
Obviously.
And this is one of those places where you have little or no influence. If the political parties decide they want to spend money, give money to people, buy votes right there and then where the voting process is going on, they're not supposed to. It is wrong. It's against the law. It's against the norms. It's not morally okay. But when they decide they're doing that, they're not going to send one person. They'll probably send 1,000 people to go out there and start giving money to people to vote for them. How do you want INEC to now put like another 5,000 people to now start chasing people that are trying to give money to people? If you want to start arresting, you're looking at arresting millions of Nigerians on the day that the election is happening. I think there are other more issues to worry about. Those ones that their own is no election should even happen, coming to steal ballot boxes, coming to try and bomb the areas or stuff. Those are the things that I think the security officers and INEC should concentrate more on, making sure that those that come out are safe and to make sure that the voting process actually happens the way it should. I think that's priority number one for them. And these guys that are coming out to bribe people, I don't think there's anything any of us can do about that. You can shout at them, you can scream at them, don't do that, it's wrong, I'll report you. Hopefully you can get them to stop by doing that, but you're highly unlikely to succeed. And a lot of these young Nigerians, I know a lot of very young Nigerians that will tell you that if you don't give me money, I'm not voting for you. And they will not vote for you unless you actually give them money. So, how do you control that? How do you stop that? Orientation, and it's not something you give people overnight. So it's a process that will take decades to finally sink in, but in the meantime, we will have to work with what we have. This is the situation we have on ground, and it's just to make sure that this situation works for us. That's when we decided National Interest Party. Make sure that this horrible situation we have on hand, that we can use it to do something really beautiful for Nigeria. So that's what we are doing.
All right, look, a lot of critics have looked at the timetable, saying February 16th. For the presidential and National Assembly elections in 2019, and also March 2nd for the state and governorship. The big question is, are we likely to see a shift of date? Probably once the incumbent or some very favored stakeholders begin to find some difficulties. If there's a shift of date, what should be the actions of Nigerians and political parties, especially a union like IPAC? What should be their role to ensure that we force INEC to stick to the rules of the game and not shift the goalposts in the middle of the game?
IPAC cannot really do anything.
Are you impressed with IPAC to start off?
No. Honestly, I don't even really know what their function is. We just joined IPAC yesterday, but so far, I haven't really felt their impact. But hopefully now that we're members of...
Is it because the leadership seem not to have the charisma, or they are not clear about their mission?
Exactly. I think the IPAC mission is very unclear because even as they were telling us we're all now members of IPAC yesterday, I was wondering what it meant. Like, what does it mean to have a coalition of political parties and then have a central point where everybody is discussing what do they actually do? Do they work together? Do they work for the ruling parties? Like, what exactly is their function? These are all questions I'll have to find answers to. I took the contact details of the chairman, so I'm hoping that when I engage him, I'll get a clear idea of what IPAC does, and then hopefully we'll be able to get in there and also maybe help restructure it, because I don't know. I don't feel IPAC. I never felt IPAC before I became, or NIP. I became like the representative of NIP in IPAC, but hopefully we'll start seeing exactly what they do and then try to help make it a bit more useful that there's an organization like that, because I think it's a good thing to have an umbrella organization where all the political parties can brainstorm together and then go back to do their own party things, but like come together and do bipartisan kind of politics. I think it's a good idea, but what the results are at the end of the day, the impact, I haven't noticed so far.
All right, so what will be your role as the chairperson now of the National Interest Party, just to ensure that if INEC decides to shift the date, what should be the implication?
It depends on the reasons for the shift. There are certain reasons they'll give you, and you know that these are reasons that are very cogent reasons and they should be allowed to get ready. It happened with
Does anyone come to your mind?
It happened in the Jonathan administration where they had to shift for another month.
Did you think that was a very fair reason?
That they had to get ready, they were not ready? Yeah, that was a fair reason. Even though it gave Jonathan some added advantages, but even with the added advantages, he still lost, thank God. Not really thank God per se, but because it was almost like they were trying to shift the goalposts to favor him, but it didn't work. So it's not like I prefer that Buhari won. No, I don't. But at the end of the day, it was like having to choose between two devils, and then we went for the worst of the devils. Okay, no problem, but the shift may have been necessary, it may not have been. We don't really know. But the reasons they gave, that they were not ready, they needed to do some more things with the PVC, and okay, fine. That was a good reason to shift, and they shifted, and they ended up giving an election that was nearly free and fair.
All right, looking at the PVC, it's always very important. Do you think INEC has done enough in terms of making the electorate, making Nigerians go out there in search of their PVCs before time? Do you think they're doing enough?
I think they are. I've seen a lot of, even online, on radio, I've seen a lot of advertising that you need to get your PVC, there's continuous voting, this, that. So I've seen a lot of work going into getting people to register to vote, not just by INEC. Everybody knows that. Even pastors, there were some things I saw online recently, pastors screaming that the way to stop all this killing is by getting your PVC and voting these people out that are killing us. That's the way to go. Let's stop preaching prosperity and all that. Let us do preaching that will be practical, that will help the people to make choices that will impact people positively going forward. So there has been a lot of campaigning for people to go and get their permanent voters cards, and I think from what they were discussing yesterday, there's like 2 million people registered to vote now. As at the last time, there were just 60. So that means that in the last year, there has been like 22 or more million people who have registered to vote. I think that's a good number for just 1 year, or not less than a year, I think, of encouraging people to come out and register to vote. So yes, I think INEC and everybody else has been doing quite a bit to get people to register to vote.
Let's look at it in terms of candidates, likely candidates to pop up. For you, do you think Nigeria has enough good heads for the electorates to pick up?
Habana.
It's a question.
Nigeria has the best brains you can think of worldwide. Whether you're comparing with our African brothers or you're comparing with the Western world, Nigeria has the best brains you can ever imagine in the world.
In terms of leadership, do we have the kind of leaders we need?
But now we have the worst of us leading us, so it's a problem, and that's why people like us decided to come in and give the opportunity for Nigerians to pick good people. Our platform is such that you can join us from wherever you are in the world. You can't be a member of a NIP unless you can go online and register to vote. But that means that you're not just going to be registering to vote from Nigeria. You can register to vote from Antarctica, wherever in the world you are. As long as you're a Nigerian and you can verify yourself to be a Nigerian and 18 and over, you can join in the politics. In fact, NIP gives those of us that are living abroad the opportunity to even win primaries before you come to Nigeria to run for election.
All right, let's look at, finally, as we wrap up, looking at the fact that the election timetable is out now. We always know that pre-election year, governance seems to nosedive because everybody is now focusing on campaign issues. Do you think the ruling party has done enough to demand Nigerians to vote them back? And do you think probably they should focus on trying to tighten loose ends so that they can have something to show Nigerians to say, okay, this is the reason why you should bring us back in 2019?
As far as I'm concerned, they should make more mistakes. They should even appoint more dead people. They should kill, God forbid, no, they shouldn't kill any one of us. It's horrible that they are killing us. But I don't think this government has any chance. They have done everything wrong from day one. They took 6 months to even appoint their cabinet, and then they gave us all these old people that we thought were dead suddenly appeared, and they were now the leaders of today. It felt like, it's not a feeling like they actually took us back decades, and we endured it, and we have finished, and we are thanking God that it's over, and then they want to tell us that it will take 4 more years. I think Nigerians would rather die than have this government take another 4 years of our lives.
All right, we've been speaking with the National Chairman of the National Interest Party in the person of Eunice Atujide, spilling the beans as regards her thought as regards the release of the timetable for the 2019 general elections by INEC. And she said all she needs to say, I guess, and hoping that Nigerians would stand by and pick the right candidate for the person to lead us in the next 4 years and more. But the truth remains that Nigeria needs credible leaders that would put the country first before anything else. And that's how we'll be coming to a wrap on today's edition of the program Politics and You. My name remains Anthony Momodu, saying thank you for joining me on this week's edition. And going forward, we'll be extracting the different likely candidates that will be coming out for the 2019 elections so that you can better be prepared to make the right choice. And hopefully the lines will be open going forward so that we can have your contributions as regards what you think about these candidates and also the political parties, if you think they have the right ideology to take us out of the woods and take us to the promised land. See you next week for another exciting edition.